Have you ever thought about what makes a chemical compound function? What gives ATP the potential to react with water in order to make energy? To answer some of these questions, let's think of chemical compounds as machines. Machines consist of many individual parts, which come together to make the machine work as a whole. For example, inside a car, you can find parts such as a battery, engine, and spark plugs. Chemically speaking, we can think of these parts as functional groups of the car. Now you may be asking, what is a functional group? Well, a functional group consists of atoms or bonds within molecules that are responsible for chemical reactions. In our previous example, the battery, engine, and spark plugs contributed to the characteristics of the car, but in a molecule, various functional groups play the role of individual parts contributing to the molecule as a whole. The functional groups in testosterone and estradiol are common in chemistry. They both have a similar chemical structure, but two drastically different functions. When looking at these steroid sex hormones, we see that testosterone plays a key role in male development, while estradiol plays a key role in female development. What causes these functional differences? The answer can be found by observing the molecular structures of testosterone and estradiol. In estradiol, we find an increased amount of double bonds, and there is an alcohol group present. Testosterone has an added methyl group, while estradiol does not. These simple changes in the functional groups of the compound allow the molecules to play completely different roles. Now that you know some of the key facts, you need to devote the time to memorizing the 7 main functional groups. They are the hydroxyl, carbonyl, carboxyl, amino, sulfhydryl, phosphate, and methyl groups. We can remember these groups by the phrase, "How can Catherine abbreviate such preposterous material?" Let's think of analogies to remember each of these important functional groups. When there is a dash before a compound, this indicates a compound is bonded to another piece of matter. Hydroxyl. You can remember the hydroxyl as dash OH, simply by the name. Hydra, meaning hydrogen, and oxy, meaning oxygen. Put these together and you get dash OH. Carbonyl. Carbonyl has a center carbon with a double bonded oxygen and 2 free-floating bonds. Think of carbonyl as a stick person walking to the next attachment. Carboxyl. Carboxyl has almost the same structure as carbonyl. The difference is now our stick man broke his left leg and he had to get a cast. Oh geez. Amino. Remember the amino functional group by recalling amino acids. Think of the functional group dash NH2, bonded as the caboose of the amino acid train. Sulfhydryl, SH. Shh. Don't disturb sulfhydryl. It's dangerous. So the same phrase exists, sulf, meaning sulfur, and hydra, meaning hydrogen. Combine sulf and hydra to get sulfhydryl, SH. Phosphate. With the central phosphate and surrounding oxygens, we can think of this figure as a kite. Phosphate is the middle, and the surrounding oxygens represent each point to the kite. One oxygen atom, however, is double bonded, which leaves the other oxygen atoms readily available to bond. Methyl. Think of the methyl group as a fire. In the middle is the carbon atom, the hottest part of the fire. On the outside of the fire, you will find a lesser heat, represented by the hydrogen atoms. Now that you have some ways to memorize the 7 main functional groups, we can think about even larger molecules such as carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acids. These molecules have long strings of repeating building blocks chained together by covalent bonds. The repeated building blocks are functional groups of the molecule. They are called monomers. Connecting these monomers creates larger compounds called polymers. Think about monomers and polymers like a ladder. The steps of the ladder are the monomers, and the ladder as a whole is the polymer. There's a lot of role-playing by small atoms to create the characteristics of various compounds. Functional groups give characteristics to molecules in order to enable important biological chemical reactions. How else would a car move, and how would ATP create energy without their concurrent functional groups?